Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're well. Welcome back to the latest Independent Gyms webinar. So we've on a bit of a roll with these now. We're squeezing this one in just before the conference next week on Tuesday. Ashbourne are a regular contributor to these webinars. So we're going to thank Harvey for coming back again. It's twice this month we've seen Harvey's face. So thank you very much for that. Today's is all about websites. I did have the title on top of my head, how your website is wrong and how to fix it. I think something along those lines. So yeah, thank you for tuning in. Obviously we're recording this, but if you've got any questions as we go, just fire them into the messenger, the chat, or feel free to unmute and just fire away as we go, or we can answer them at the end, and we'll record it if you want to watch it back. So on that note, I'm going to hand over to Harvey and away we go.
Okay, thank you very much, Rob. I am all for people interrupting because this is like, I'm going to give you an overview of websites, what I think a good website should do, some examples of a good website, how you can do it for yourself. And then with any luck, you should at least have an idea. Obviously, I can't do an entire workshop on how to build a great website because that is my job after all. So I can't teach you that in an hour, but I'll share my presentation. Then, as I say, feel free to interrupt anyone.
Yeah, so I'm able.
So you can see that, can't you, Rob?
Yeah, we can see that.
Excellent. And that's all that matters. Perfect. So yes, why your gym website is bad, how to fix it. I'm not obviously insulting your personal website. You might be watching this and just want to have a few tweaks of how to improve your website. But I will say as with any industry, there's a big range in quality of websites in the fitness industry. So this was more just a webinar just to give you an idea of where you might be failing, why you probably should put more time and effort into your website, and ways to improve that, and what kind of information you can put on there. And most importantly, hot fixes for you to do it yourself if you don't want to properly invest in a website builder, because websites can cost between a couple of hundred for something very basic to a few thousand. So obviously it can be a sizable amount of your budget. So quickly, who am I? I'm Harvey Clint-Wright. I'm from Ashbourne Membership Management. I am the marketer and website designer at Ashbourne, because we, as part of our service, we are, when you sign up for our entire platform, we also build a custom website for you. And one of the benefits that we do is we don't just charge you, the thousands of pounds that a website builder will. We just have it as one of our modules. So it's just like a small cost each month, like any of our other modules. So you get a great website in place, full maintenance, full hosting, all your emails taken care of. And then that just continues on while you're with us. So effectively you get a website instantly without having to just put up that massive chunk of change that website developers ask for. So let's quickly go into it. So I think this is an important one to get out of the way, because a lot of websites, aren't very striking. They mostly fail in terms of content, in terms of their look, in terms of like how long they take to load. And so this is an actual stat that most people will stop using a website within 7 seconds if it doesn't work or if they don't find out what they're looking for. So people want information faster. I know that's kind of a stereotypical thing to say, but it is true. People's attention spans are massively down. A good example is with marketing, as many gyms are finding. Back in the 50s, you would have 3 points of contact with a customer before they bought from you. So, they'd see you in a magazine, they'd see a billboard, they'd walk past you in the street and they'd go, oh, that's an interesting thing. But now it's about 14. So people are getting harder and harder to sell to, and you have to keep their attention for longer. So I'll get it out of the way. Firstly, there is no perfect formula to a website. I'm not just going to give you the perfect formula and you'll be able to go there and upload it to your website and it'll look perfect. But what I kind of want to talk here, and people are free to interject questions and Rob's free to ask whatever he wants as well, is to let's learn what's important about a website. Let's learn like where you're failing and where you can improve it. But I think a good place to start with, and this is part of the 7 seconds issue, is, and I see a lot of gyms not doing this, is you need to have an idea of the gym member that you're trying to attract. And when you start from there, then you should design and structure your website in accordance with that. And that's a very important thing that a lot of people miss out. They sort of have these generic websites which aren't really focused at anyone. They don't really give the particular information. And so if you've just got, if you've got like a very rough looking website, but you're advertising like a boutique service that's a couple of £100 a month, you know, that's a very clear example, but you have to rethink that. You have to go back to the drawing board and say, right, what is my club for? And is my website actually communicating to that member that I want to get hold of? So we've got a successful website in 3 steps. How would you plan a website starting again? Well, planning, as we've just said, you know, you want to know who you're talking to. And we're going to talk about this a lot, the journey, because a lot of this is the core to a lot of website design, and a lot of people that build their own websites don't take this into account. But you want, when somebody goes on your website, you want them to take certain actions, whether that's just buying straight away, or signing up to something, or spending a lot of time learning, or going and joining your social media. You need to design your website in a way that kind of, you know, it's like a narrative. When they start from the top of the page, you need them to read down, and for your website to build interest and get them to do things as they go along. So you need to plan your website, and you need to take them on that journey. Second one is presentation. We're not all designers here, and at the end of this webinar, I'll be sharing some free resources for how you can actually make things look good. I'm not a designer. I use these resources. This PowerPoint, which I think, you know, nice new design, but I did not design this. This is a template. And that's what I mean. Like, you know, there are so many templates that have been built now, you can make anything look good. So, but yeah, don't go above your station. If you're not a designer, just make sure to keep it clean and easy to read. Don't go above and beyond what you can actually do. And then finally, the content. Like, ensure that your website is actually useful to read. You know, make sure that every bit of your writing adds to what you want your visitor to feel. That's taking them on that emotional journey of how you're going to inspire them to join your club. But also, yeah, just give them the information they need to, you know, imagine they're looking around all the gyms in your area. What information do they need to see for them to go, wow, that is worth the money. That's the gym I want, and it speaks to me, because you've written your website for your perfect customer. So what is the purpose of a website? I guess this is a very important thing to get out of the way, because a lot of people seem to think of a website as just like an online billboard. And that's what I've put here. So one of the first parts of your website is, yes, it's a passive way for people to find information about your gym around the clock. And the great thing about the internet is it's a perfect way for you to advertise to people in your area without having to spend a fortune on billboards or newspapers. You know, for a tenner a month, sometimes you can be advertising in your area to people who are searching for gyms in your area. And another great thing, number 2, a way for people to actually join up to your way for people to actually join your gym. There are a surprising number of gyms which don't have an online join feature. I'd say the only time that this is probably a valid thing not to have is if you're a personal trainer that wants to have a consultation first. You know, if you're very invested in that kind of one-to-one where you want to have a consultation, you want to talk to a particular person, then sure, you're not going to have an online join, but you are going to have an equivalent of that. You're going to have, you know, that they need to book a session or do something like that. But there's so many gyms which just have a generic contact form in the contact area, which just says, hey, if you're interested in the gym, you know, get in touch, ask some questions. And you really need to, you know, you need to be catching members whenever they're ready. Like, if somebody is having an evening at home and they're like, you know what, I'm gonna get fit today, I'm going to actually, you know, change things, they need to go on your website during that Google, and they need to be able to sign up. Of course, as a representative of Ashbourne, we're very big on online signups. We have an entire system for them to do that, receive all their information, be ready to go to the gym in 5 minutes, and have their direct debit set up, be signed up to a 12-month contract. We're a big fan of automated online signups, but it's a feature with a lot of gym websites don't have. And you need to have it, because you can't assume that somebody's going to, you know, read your website and go, oh, I'm going to take the time out of my day tomorrow to go and visit the gym. You need that incentive for them to sign up, and then have that pressure for them to go, okay, I've paid for this, now I should go to the gym. And number three, most importantly, a website is a way to collect emails, so you can continue contacting members after they've left your website. Like never, this is the modern age of marketing, and this is what I was talking about with those 14 touch points. Don't leave it up to chance that somebody will be proactively, you know, we all imagine the perfect consumer, you know, does their full research, they make their decision and they go and purchase. You need a way to constantly be contacting them and staying in touch with them. So if your website does not collect someone's email and give you a way of getting in touch with them after they've left, then I would say number three is the most important thing. And if you're not doing it, then you're not utilizing your website nearly enough. So this is what we're talking about with these, you know, collecting emails. And this is part of the journey as well. We call them calls to action. So when somebody goes on your website, think about what you want them to actually do. Your website needs to be a journey. It needs to guide your visitors into making specific actions. And as I've said, the actions that I like people to take on a website is to give me their email, because it's actually very unlikely that someone will go on your website and just buy straight away. Your online sign-up page, your online join system is a really good way of somebody, you know, after they know all about you, of having a quick way of signing up. And you do get people that quickly sign up. They just, you know, Pure Gym is probably, you know, well, it's the enemy of the independent gyms community. Pure Gym, obviously, because it's just so competitive on price, they can just, you know, someone will go up and see how cheap they are and sign up straight away. But you need to be giving your visitors an actual thing to do. You need to be telling them what to do. And so one of the things I love people to do is to give me their emails. And so very instantly, I give them a purpose. I offer them to sign up for a special promotion, you know, download a free fitness resource, book your free consultation. I want them to, instead of just reading the website and heading off, I want them to make that primary contact and take an action so that I can get in contact with them afterwards. And we're going to, later on, we're going to look at some examples of websites and look at some really great ways that you can actually get a very high percentage of emails. At the moment on our current beta gym, which we test everything with, it's called the Fit Club Redditch, we're getting 30% of everyone who visits us, we get 30% of the emails. The industry standard is 2%. So there's a technique of doing it, and I'll show you how to do it. So I guess then, moving away from the kind of marketing and collecting websites, collecting emails element, like what pages do you actually need on your website? Because I think a lot of people who are building their own websites struggle with what actually to put on their website. I personally like larger websites. I like them to be, you know, for them to be a complete catalog. And the great thing is that you don't have to put everything on a single page. I see a lot of gym websites, which is just a single page with just endless amounts on it. Split up your website. Don't be afraid to split it up. So some of the pages I would go for is your homepage. This should be your website's tasting menu. All of the bullet points on this, all of the separate pages you're going for, there should be a section about these on your homepage. And then each of these sections should link to all of these pages. So for instance, you know, we've got our homepage, we'll have our About Us page. An About Us page is really important for a gym because not only does it give them information about where you are, but also, you know, it's a good place to let them into your gym's vibe. You know, this is the whole point about what kind of customer you're after. This is where you can lay out exactly what kind of customer you want, and then your customer can make a decision about whether or not they will be comfortable in that environment. A Meet Our Staff page is great. People respond much more favorably to businesses where there's a face to it. And if you can give them, you know, short bios of the team so they can understand the team, it creates a much better community. Discover our facilities. Have a page on your website. I have several pages listing all of your facilities. Unless you're changing up your gym a lot, like this is a great way of you just having absolutely everything that your gym offers in one go. You only have to do this once, and it's incredible. It means that somebody doesn't have to book a tour around your entire facility. They can actually read what you have and be interested in going straight away. Having all of your classes on your website is a great idea. It's not only great for newcomers, because newcomers, you know, want to see the classes that are on offer, and that can be a great selling point. It can also be a great resource for existing members. You have to also consider that existing members can go and use your website, and this can take a lot of strain off your emails, you know, when people come to the desk asking, when's this happening? When's this happening? If you can put all of this information and these frequently asked questions that your members themselves will be asking, it takes a huge strain off your reception staff. And I mean, if you want to go one step further, you can even get a gym app, which of course Ashbourne also provides. But having that information for your members is a great way of just taking the strain off answering all of these questions. Pricing membership options, extremely important. Give somebody a list of all the memberships that they can sign up to and all of the benefits that come with them. And of course, structure that in a way which makes them go for the more expensive one. But absolutely have all of your membership options on your website if you can, because it's really useful, especially if somebody wants to sign up there and then they know exactly what they're going for. FAQs is a nice, easy one. This is a really nice page to have because there's loads of silly questions which people have, which they're not silly, but it's things like, you know, do I get free parking? Are the lockers included? You know, are there showers? And these are the kind of things which can clutter up a page. And I think a lot of gyms don't put this information on their pages because they don't know where to put them. Just have a frequently asked questions area. You know, you can even send out a survey to your members with asking them, you know, what are your frequently asked questions, or make a note of what people come to the desk with, and then literally take all of these questions, put them straight up on the site. Of course, you want your contact page. Your contact page is very important for somebody getting in touch, sending a question. This is also great for your members to get in touch out of hours. But as before, don't have your contact us page be the only way for somebody to get in touch. Have forms and your email address on all of the pages so people can very quickly get in touch with you. And most importantly, have a way to collect their email while they're navigating the entire site as a whole. And then, of course, you can have a blog. I really like blogs for gyms. They are not only great for your SEO. If you've never heard of that, that's search engine optimization. That's effectively if somebody's making a search in Google, Google will obviously bring up pages and websites that have relevant content. So if you're like a gym in Redditch, for instance, you can obviously build your entire site to use the phrase, you know, gym in Redditch, have all of that information on there. But if you can create more blogs about, you know, physio, other health services in Redditch, and have really specialized content for people to accidentally find where they're looking for fitness within an area, then it's an absolutely great way to just expand the number of searches that somebody can make for your gym without cluttering your website with more pages. So I'm a very big fan of blogs. They're really good for getting more people to find your website. And they're also really good for giving your members content and making your gym more of a holistic experience, because we've noticed a lot that a lot of people have left their gyms because the trouble with just having your gym as an area for fitness, just to get fit, is that can be quite replicable in other areas. I know obviously there's things like Peloton, and the fact is some people have quit their have quit their gym memberships for that reason, because they can get fit at home. So make your gym a bit more of about well-being and health. Give people an all-in-one place where they can learn every aspect of their fitness and health, not just about getting on a machine, burning some calories and going home. For the average Joe gym owner, they can replicate that elsewhere, and you need to give them something more, create a bit of a community. And your blog is a really good way of doing that. You're a fitness expert, share your knowledge. Now, are you making your own website? It is very possible to make your own website, and there are loads of ways of doing it quite cheaply and making it look good, which I will be sharing some of the free resources that can help you do that later on. But I would always be pro paying somebody to do it. I think that you should invest in a website like you should any other part of your business. We'll go into it a bit later, but obviously, you know, your website is a lot of the time your first contact with your business. And, you know, most websites look pretty good these days. You do need to be hitting a certain standard. A lot of people, if they go on a website, they actually think it, you know, if it's not structured right, people actually think it's dodgy. People are very concerned about their cybersecurity. So make sure your website looks nice and actually represents your business in a favorable light. But if you are building your own website, here's some of the things you can remember. So don't be afraid of space. websites, just because you've got lots of information doesn't mean it has to be cluttered. Spread that out, make your web pages long, split content across multiple web pages, as we've said. Don't just whack all of your content in these huge paragraphs of text, because no one's going to read them. So make sure that your website has a lot of space. You can do this with your images. So let your images do the talking. If you have nice images, if you get a photographer into your gym, have a few members of staff or some happy members who are happy to post photos, get some nice pictures of your gym and use these pictures across your website to give it a bit of, not only to instantly show people what your gym facilities look like, but just give it a bit of design, give it a bit of a nice look and separate that text. Imagery is a very good way to give your website space and give people time to decompress between pieces of information. Another way of doing that is your testimonials. You don't just have to have an entire page of testimonials. Sprinkle your testimonials throughout your pages. Like one way you can do is, between sections, you can even have rows of testimonials, just like a nicely designed testimonial from a member. Not only does it look good for you, it's a very good sales pitch by your members for of the quality of your gym, but it's also a nice way to break up the space on your website while also giving someone some actual useful information, like a member telling you how good your gym is. And there's entire ways that you can get testimonials from people. Set up your Google business, make sure people are leaving you reviews on Google, get people to leave you reviews on Facebook, and even when people are coming in, ask them for a testimonial, maybe give them little incentives or little gifts for giving you a testimonial. These are the kind of things you can take and you can reuse in your website and across all of your marketing. Fourth point, copy from the best. Probably all of the best websites that have ever been made have already been made. There are loads of great websites. And if you just can't imagine what your website should look like, find a website for a club that you think you can reasonably copy and go and copy it. Like there isn't any copyright to a website design. Go and copy someone else's website. It's a very quick way of just getting the job done. Another way is use templates and pre-built things. If you literally can't build a website at all, you don't know how to structure it. Every time you try, it just turns into a mess. With most website builders, and we'll go into a few, there's stuff like Wix and Squarespace. Just use the templates. Often there is actually a fitness template as part of these services. So don't feel bad about using a template. Just go and use a template, switch everything out for what you need it to be, and just make sure that you have a solid, good looking website. Somebody's already done the hard work for you. If you want to actually go further on, I'm a big fan of planning your site on paper, because the way to imagine a website, imagine, that each screen, so the size of your screen, try to imagine each time they scroll down, they're seeing a new screen amount of content. So plan your website in blocks. And it's a really easy way of, being like, right, at the top of the homepage, I want a welcome. Then I want an about us. Now I want to talk about the facilities. Like just plan everything in these website screens. It can really take a lot of the stress off planning a website when you do it on paper and you can see it. You can see it sort of in front of you before you actually get on the website builder and design. Plan it first, then go and design it. Don't build it at the same time, or else you'll end up with a mush of ideas. Another good one is make your website easy to navigate. I see a lot of gym websites, and a lot of websites in general don't do this. On your homepage, if you're talking about your classes and you have a class booking system or you have a page about classes, just link to it. Don't leave it up for your website visitor to make any decisions. Don't assume that they'll be so interested in what you're saying that they're going to go and look something up. If you mention something, link to it. Lots of links, lots of ways to get quickly around your website. There's no reason not to make your website super easy to navigate. And of course, as I've said before, if you can, invest in an actual person to build your website, because firstly, it will, in the long run, if you're, time is money for you, you could be off spending loads of time, doing some extra marketing, hosting more classes, coming up with new ideas for your business to make money. It could easily take you a couple of days of hours to, you know, you could easily spend 70 hours building a website if you don't know what you're doing. Think about whether or not that 70 hours could be better spent doing something elsewhere, and you can just pay someone to take care of this, because it's a one and done job. Find yourself a good website developer who will build a website and show you how to use it and make edits, and everything will be sorted. So we're going to take a look at some website examples. And as I said, I'm going to share all this documentation at the end of it, because I've written as much text on these slides as I can, because I want you to be able to read this as a PDF and just, you know, look through examples, get some free tools, get an idea of, in your own time, how you can actually build a good website. So I picked 4 website examples, all of which I've linked to in the document, so you can just click them when you get the PDF. But yeah, each of these, the reason I picked these websites is, well, firstly, I built them, so I can guarantee they look good. But other reasons are that each of these websites are going for a slightly different type of customer. So not only are these websites which I give you free reign to copy if you want to copy them, but you can also get a sense for how the coloring and the layout communicates to the specific target audience they're going for. So we're going to very quickly just look through some websites and look at the structure and you know, take a look at why they're worth copying and how they're good examples of a gym website. So very quickly, one of the first ones is, as I said, the Fit Club Redditch. This is one of the websites that, this is our beta gym. This is where we run all of our tests. Anything we do on our website or in the club or as part of the Ashbourne software package, we test here. Now, I mentioned earlier that we get 30% of our visitors give us their emails. And you might notice that there's the website behind here, but in front of here is this pop-up, which has come up straight away. Now, this is one of my favorite pop-ups, and I've added it as a link in this document. But this is called the Woohoo Wheel, and there are many providers like this that do a wheel pop-up. But the difference between, most of you have probably seen those like general pop-ups, which just pop up on a website and say, you know, fill in your email for this information. And those get about 2% of visitors actually filling them in, which isn't a huge amount. You know, for every 100 people, you're only getting 2 emails, and then maybe you'll only sell to them 10% of the time. So you're going to have a lot of churn and visitors before you start making sales based on any follow-up emails. So the reason this is so good is it's effectively the same thing, as you can say. It's literally saying, sign up here for a special discount, but it adds in a little element of gambling. You know, you type in your email, that's your cost to take a spin of the wheel. They take a spin, and then the wheel will spin you a discount. So we'll just do a very, very, very quick example. Take a spin of the wheel. That's it. So I now have that person's email that will be stored in my CRM, which is my customer relationship management service. So basically, every time somebody fills this in, it goes and is added to my email database. It's very easy to set up this kind of stuff, and obviously we provide help for that. But yeah, that's literally it. They now have a discount, so they can go and use that discount straight away. But more importantly, I now have their email, so I can do follow-ups. I can add them to my newsletter. If I have any special promos going forward, I can email them about it. So you have to get smart in the modern world with how you collect emails. As I say, don't just leave it up to be a contact form and hope the person's curious. Have something interesting and engaging. And this wheel system is a really good way of doing that, because there is just that element of, oh, I get to interact and spin for a discount. You know, increases your email collection by 15 times. You just do some research, get smart with the kind of tools that you're using for your email collection. So once we have instantly there are direct ways that people can just actually explore the gym. It's a great tool. They're not massively expensive. There's usually a videographer in your area who can provide this service. But you can, this is what I'm talking about, like there are ways to make your website more interactive than just lots of copy and content, and you can invest in these kind of things. Then of course we have an explanation. This is our big sales pitch. It's everything for a single membership. So we have lots of pictures of people in the gym. We don't like to have really beautiful people at the front and center. We're based in Redditch. People of Redditch are lovely, but they're not all supermodels. So we like to have lots of pictures of what the gym looks like and actual real people using the gym. And then, of course, as you scroll down, we have, this is our sales pitch, everything you need all in one club. We have a single membership for everything. So this is what I mean about the kind of customer we're after. Like, we are going for just a person in Redditch who just wants a reliable place to get fit and have more facilities than something like a Pure Gym. So we're not going for people who are like, want those really budget clubs, but we are going for somebody who is interested in actually having a lot of facilities to play with at a price that's competitive. And then as you can see from this block design, we go from, the about us, a simple about us system, then an explanation of all our facilities. As you can see in the menu, I have a further page to talk about that, and you can click these to go to that page. So that quick navigation, you've seen the facilities. If you click this, you'll go to the facilities page in the menu. And then, of course, to break up stuff, we've got a few testimonials. You can see how clean and spaced out this all is and how you can use your testimonials as decorative. So they split up your areas and they actually give the person more information. Then we have the short video about some of the more facilities that we offer. And then we have this other call to action. At the very end, it's like, do you want to enjoy your health journey? Join the Fit Club today, sign me up. This is what I mean by call to actions. Don't just have information and then end it with nothing. This is a very final, do you like what you see? Sign me up right now. You need those call to actions. Tell your customers what to do. Have buttons with really sort of simplistic instructions. Just make them do something. Do whatever you can to make them sign up. So very quickly, just looking through other websites, because I think that was hopefully a very clear, and I've included all of these in the document, but that's a very clear idea of how you should structure your front page and then how you should split up your pages from there. So this is a gym called Heroes Gym. Like, the intent is very clear. Like, this entire gym is all Marvel themed. They have huge models of, things like Thor and the Hulk and Daredevil. This guy's gone, the owner of this gym has gone all in. He's really invested in this look. And it's for, it's a premium gym. It's for young people, young professionals in the area, for students. He's got a very clear intent of what kind of customer he wants. It's not for sort of 60-year-old granny who's decided to, do some Pilates to keep fit. This is for a very particular type of member. We then have Lane's Health Club. This is another great example. They've used the wheel as well. They're collecting a ridiculous amount of emails at the moment, like more than they've ever had. Their email marketing's going great. They're selling more memberships. Get smart with how you're collecting emails. Make sure that you're actually getting emails when somebody visits your site. They actually go one step further. They actually also collect the phone numbers, which is a really great way, because yes, you will collect less information, but if you can get someone's phone number as well and get in touch with them over the phone, your sales will be much higher than just an email. So like Lane's Health Club take a lot more time focusing on each single member because they want to keep them in for a longer period of time and retain their members with that kind of relationship that they build. So as you can tell straight away from the video, Lane's Health Club, like everything's these nice soft greens, these nice soft colors. The videos kind of show the age demographic that they're going for. All of their talks, all of their kind of content is based around, cafes and events. It's a very communal place. And they also have a heavy focus on, staying healthy well older. This is all about wellness and staying fit and healthy throughout life. So they're going for a particular age group, the OAP age group, and they've been very successful with it because they just have a very clean layout that's easy to navigate for people of an older age and is talking specifically to an age group. And then finally, you've got Arena. Arena is obviously like big, weightlifting, strongman, that's its focus. It's plain simple. It's got like all the information somebody needs. They're open 24 hours, 7 days a week. They're for the, round the clock working professional who just wants to stay strong and fit. They have all the information about, strong men, strong women training, and they have pictures to show you around. So like And you can even see from their colors, like it's these reds and grays, not something that would work for the old pensioners, but just like colors which really resonate with a very specific vibe and a customer they're going for. So that's what I mean about your look. Like, make sure that that the colors and the way you write and, you know, the information that you give is focused on the customer that you're talking to, because that's why most gym websites fail. They're just not speaking to anyone, and they're not getting their customer to do anything. And as you can see from these websites, they are speaking to a very specific person. They have a very specific look. And most importantly, they are collecting email information, phone information, a way to stay in touch with the person. And yeah, and then they all have an online join option. So if the person's ready to go there and then, they can sign up straight away. Then, of course, there is a technical aspect to your website. It's a piece of software. So it's not just about the design. You have to get it, you know, you have to get it working in a technical way. So number one, you need it to load fast. You know, if your website is loading slowly, not only will you lose your visitors' interest, because as we said, we have that 7-second period. If your website doesn't load within 7 seconds, they are off, they are gone. Even worse than that, Google will now actually, even if your website is, you know, even if you're a gym in Redditch and you've written the phrase gym in Redditch, best gym in Redditch on your website loads of times, when people are Googling for gym in Redditch, if your website loads slowly, you will actually appear lower in the ranking than other people. You could appear on page 2 or 3. Google doesn't like to recommend crap websites to people. It knows how fast your website is. It does regular speed tests. So it's not just about having the right keywords on your website. It's not about having the right search terms. Your website has to load quickly. So that means that your images have to be like at a reasonable file size. Don't just upload videos straight onto the website. You have to be careful with how you actually, what you put on your website. So I'll give you some more techniques for how to make your website smaller, but you have to, you know, once you've built a perfect website, if it's taking a long time to load, that's another obstacle that you've got to overcome. Make sure your website is mobile friendly. Obviously, your phone screen is shaped like that. Your desktop is shaped like that. Your website can't look the same on both. So, you know, find somebody who is capable of doing that, or, you know, just, or use a web builder which allows you to easily optimize for both devices, because you need to make your website load good on mobile. Google, once again, will actually, Google actually then will once again punish you for having an unmobile friendly website. And as well as, bear in mind, like in May 2022, 52.79% of all websites were on mobile. If you think that most people are sitting at home on their desktops on the internet, that is not true. People are moving over to mobile. I wouldn't be surprised if that number is closer to 80% in 10 years. People are very, very, very quickly moving over to mobile, and your website has to be mobile friendly as well. So if you make a website, check it on your mobile. If it looks bad, your job's not done. You have to keep going. And then finally, we've been talking about keywording. And this is what I meant with it being more of a technical aspect. But yeah, sure, you know, get all the information on your website, make it look good, but do be aware of the wording that you use, because that's what governs how you show up in searches on Google. And the great thing about gyms, which actually I really like marketing for them, is because they're so localized. You know, you don't have somebody in Dundee going to a gym in Redditch. It's the beautiful thing is most people's search terms for finding a gym will be gym in local area, physio in local area, sauna in local area. You can, on each of your pages, like write these phrases, these search terms, go on Google and start typing it in and see what you get auto-suggested, because those are popular search terms. So go on other websites, see which phrases they use and copy them. Make sure that your website uses these phrases that you need for people to actually find you on Google. It can be a very complicated science, SEO, but for the majority of people, if you're just running a local business, it's very simple to just go and keyword your website for those local search terms. And then I have been talking about this as we've gone along, but your website reflects you. It's no longer the early 2000s. Like pretty much every website looks fantastic now, and people judge badly built websites. People actually often go on websites and think that they're a bit dodgy. I certainly don't type my information into a website which looks like it's about 20 years old. It doesn't feel secure. I'm not going to do it. And I know a lot of people feel that way. So, you know, if you're running like a boutique health club, or you're like, you know, a personal trainer who's saying, I have really high standards, I work to the highest standards, and your website looks absolutely terrible, it reflects badly on you. And it's a part of your business. You know, if you were sending out a leaflet to people in your area, it wouldn't be full of spelling mistakes, and it wouldn't be all busted up, and, you know, it wouldn't have terrible low quality pictures. Your website needs to be the same. Like, treat it like an actual part of your business, because more and more people are going to be finding your website, finding your gym through your website. So yeah, take the time, you know, either to do a time investment or invest some money to actually getting somebody to build a good website for you. And here I come with the free resources. So as I say, when I will email this out to everybody who's watching the webinar now, and Rob is going to be posting this when he posts this in the Independent Gym Owners Forum. So all of you, if you are, you know, building a website and you're like, damn, I don't know what colors I should make it, I don't know how to make nice images, this is my top free resources for you to use. And as you can see, I have things like Calendly. It's a free calendar booking system. You link somebody to it on your website, you can connect it up to your Google Calendar, they can pick a free time slot, they can just instantly book in for a Zoom meeting or to come into your facility for a chat. Super easy to do, nothing technical on your side, and it's free. Canva, this is a powerful and very easy to use image and video creation tool. It comes complete with a stock image system. It has loads of templates. If you want to create like a quick trailer for your website, it's literally a case of dragging and dropping just images into a video template, and it will make it look great. I build everything on Canva. This is built on Canva. Canva's awesome. Everybody should have Canva. And if you want to upgrade to the pro version, it's 10 quid a month, which, to save you all the time in the world for making just quick posters and videos for your business, it's something that every business should have. And it's great, you know, if you want to create something, a nice looking logo or a header for your website, super easy to do on Canva. Then there's Wix. I don't build websites on Wix. I use WordPress and some other stuff. But if you are literally doing it yourself and you want to do it as cheaply as possible, Wix is one of the better and easier to use website builders. It allows you to build solid looking mobile and desktop versions of the website. So your website will load quickly and look good on any device. And on top of that, it also, it's very reasonably priced. It's easy to use. And yeah, you can use a free version if you want to. So I would suggest you invest in your website build, but if you want to just have a quick template that you can use and just get set up and going with, then Wix is great. Another thing is Google Analytics. Very free and simple tracking service. It's very easy to install on your website. If you Google, you know, where you've built your website and how to install Google Analytics, there'll be dozens of articles of how to help you. Literally, you install that on your website and it will track how long people stay on your website, which page is the most popular, and then you can actually make decisions about editing your website as you go forward. GTmetrix, really quick and easy way to check your website's loading speed. If your website's loading badly, you just type in your URL or your domain into this site, and it will tell you how quickly it's loading, and also tell you which bits are loading the slowest. So if you've got a particularly big image, it will explain that this image is really big, and you can go and make it a smaller file size. Speaking of smaller file size, free tool here, Tiny PNG. You upload images to it, and it will shrink the file size by up to like 60%. Amazing, really simple way of just making all of your images on your website a lot smaller, makes your site load quicker. Something that you should definitely do for every single image before you put it into your website. And then finally, there's the last three. There's Pexels and Unsplash. These are free stock images websites. If you want pictures of fit and healthy people, you know, high-fiving and having a great time, and you haven't yet gone and done that in your own gym, you can't afford a photographer, then go on these websites. You can use these for business related. No one will chase you and tell you to take them down. Perfect tool to use if you want to fill your website with imagery, but you haven't got a photographer. And then finally, there's a website called Coolors. It is a color scheme generator. You pick a few colors that you like, and it will tell you 5 colors that go with them. So if you want to build a website and have a few colors on them, but you're not very good with colors and you're picking, heliotrope and purple and green, and they all look like a mess, Coolors will actually just give you 5 colors that you can just use. So really great way of just making a website look good straight away and giving you a brand and a color that actually matches the atmosphere and customer that you're going for. And that is it. That is a breakdown of why your gym website is bad and how to fix it. You can obviously email me at harvey@ashbournemanagement.co.uk. I love talking about websites. I'm happy to answer any questions about websites. That's what I'm here for. Like, the whole philosophy of Ashbourne is we like to help gym owners actually grow their businesses. We like to grow with them. So if you have any questions about websites, get in touch with me. And of course, if you want to see the rest of the service, then you can book a demo at our website, ashbourne-memberships.com. And our lovely sales team of Grant and Shannon will happily walk you through the hundreds of other things that we do other than websites. So hello, Rob, you put back on screen.
I'll put my camera back on. Thank you very much for that, Harvey.
That's all right.
Tons of information in there. I'm not going to lie, I'm a technophobe.
There was a lot of information there.
Yeah, but I may have known of a few bits. Guys, if you've got any questions, obviously, feel free to unmute yourself and just speak up, or just ping it through the chat feature. So there we go. So yeah, literally I was scribbling bits down, and I think you probably answered them, like most of the times.
Okay.
The blog features on websites, I always wonder, does anybody actually read them? How important are they from a user experience or SEO?
For SEO, I think they can be very important. I think they're a really good way of, as I say, they're a good way of talking about services in your area or in your facility, but without having to create an entire web page for them. They can be very throwaway. So, if you're a gym and you're like, you've got a physio in for a week, they can be kind of a good way to update people on that. In terms of actual blog reader rates, yeah, that's it. It's small, and one of the best ways to utilize your blog, to be honest, is at the Fit Club. We have a monthly newsletter. I like to write a blog, and then we send that out in the newsletter. So it just forces it to be in front of more people's eyes. It can be a useful fitness technique. That's how I would handle it. But we do have a lot of blogs that are about, X service in the area, and they're just a very quick and simple way of giving people more information. But yeah, there's alternatives to a blog. Like if you don't want to write blogs and you want to do TikTok instead, there's loads of gyms which have amazing TikToks. Then instead of your blog, like, link to your videos on TikTok. Like, your blog is really just a place for you to keep your website active and have it be an area of content for people to come back to. So whichever works. If you want to focus on videos or TikToks, then do that instead of a blog. But if you want to do some more complicated, like, keywording stuff, then do that. I think it's mostly useful. It would be really useful if you're like an online gym. Then it's really useful, because then you're trying to get people from as many parts of the country and the world to find you. So that's where a blog's really helpful for your keywording. But if you're just a gym in Redditch, not hugely useful, but very good for delivering free content to your members and giving them an excuse to actually come and visit your website.
Cool. Good answer, I think. Thank you. And that probably ties into the second question.
Yeah.
I think as an independent owner, we're probably all very busy and spinning plates all over the gym. How important is it to update the content to keep your SEO or to keep relevant?
I mean, I think it's very important to update it, primarily so that if somebody goes on your website, they actually get an up-to-date information. Like, if you have a steam room and then you get rid of it, don't have the steam room on there 6 months later. So somebody goes on and they turn up and they're like, where is this steam room that I signed up for? But in general, I think the good news, and I found this with the Fit Club Redditch, is we turn up very high in the search terms. We're number one. And the reason is that basically no other gym is investing the time in their website. So if you're in an area and you want to upgrade your website, the good news is you can get very quickly to number one in Google, and you probably don't have to adjust your content that often, other than just you know, to tell people what you've actually got going on in the club. Because if you can get to the top of the search term for, you know, your gym in your area, then you'll pretty much probably be there for years. You know, for Ashbourne, because we're in club management, you know, I have to update the website all the time because we're fighting against everyone for Google space. But yeah, local club, pretty much if you get there first and you make a good website that's well keyworded, you'll probably be there for years, because you're going to be likely the only gym in your area investing in this stuff. So
Nice.
it's a good position.
So yeah, let's get it updated. Right, the next three I've probably got 3 statements and then a disagreement. One disagreement at the end, which I'll to you. I think when you talk about if you can afford it, pay somebody to build it for you. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. I think it's like your accountant, any specialist service, use a professional, because it's quicker, probably better, and you can concentrate on doing what you're good at.
Yeah.
So that's the first statement. I'm sure you agree with that. The second one, that pop-up with wheel, I think is a brilliant, simple solution. And I think
wicked.
Every gym should have something like that on their website. Whether it's a day pass or a week pass, a discount, whatever it might be. And I'd probably say that trumps the free. I think there's a tendency with the online world to have a download and nutrition guide.
Yeah.
Which for me is the same as every other website. It's not generic. It's quite a generic tool. It might have a brand on it, but it's quite a generic download, and I probably wouldn't be interested. But if it was a day pass, free day pass, spin to win, I think I would enter. So I like that one as well.
I agree with you. Wheel's fantastic, and yeah, there's a lot of generic like download this, which somebody could find at 50 other websites.
And then the last statement, which tied in yesterday, I was at UK Active. I got dragged into a panel discussion, and we talked about how it can be difficult to first enter a gym if you don't know anyone. It can be quite clicky, even though we create communities that are welcoming. Yeah. It's hard to step foot through the door, and that ties in with the staff profiles. And I think that's actually a really good way of having that familiar face. If you're going to turn up to a gym and you don't know anybody, but you recognize somebody from the website, from the staff profiles, I think that's a great feature. Really good feature. And I think gym owners probably like talking about themselves as well, don't we? And their trainers.
Well, precisely. And another great thing is in the staff profiles, when they're personal trainers, it's a way for somebody to log on and get in touch with them if you add their email as well. Great way for your personal trainers to make some extra money.
Definitely. Right, the disagreement.
You
mentioned earlier that Redditch isn't full of supermodels, but I live in Redditch, and I wonder what you're saying.
I actually saw you on mute when I said that, and I was like, he's going to say something.
I was going to interrupt, but you've gone by. Yes, I feel very put out by that statement. Hey.
No, Rob, you are a supermodel in my eyes, don't worry.
And that was it, right. Guys, unless you've got any questions, I think we're pretty much done there. So we're gonna wrap it up. If you want to unmute and far away, do so. If not, we're going to post this in the group. Obviously, there's some resources available, which Harvey will send over to you both. Anybody listening, if you want these resources, email Harvey on the address that you can see on the screen, and he'll be in touch. And other than that, last thing to say is Ashbourne will be at the summer conference on Tuesday next week. So if you've got any specific questions, or you want to have a look at their solution, come and see them on in Solihull. So Harvey, thank you very much for hosting again. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Thanks for having me, Rob, and I'll see you on Tuesday. Brilliant. Bye, everyone.
Cheers, guys.